Hey y'all, it is Leah with a Y, and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be the start of a new series. It's going to be called X Chronicles. I've only had one ex in my life, but I can assure you I have enough stories that that would equate to a person who has had many exes. This dude was basically not good for me. I had faults in the relationship as well, like my biggest one, but they were not the kind of faults that he had. Like he didn't know how to talk to a woman and not flirt. He didn't know how to respect me. He didn't know how to tell me that he was concerned about my health without being rude, without being an asshole. He didn't know how to do that. And so, my faults were, that I basically allowed these things to go on and I didn't push the issue, especially if I felt disrespected or if I felt that he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do as the boyfriend. I never really pushed it a whole lot. I didn't really place a lot of demands on him. So yeah, this one is going to be part 1 of X Chronicles James edition. James is the same James from the video that I posted recently where I talked about he got caught having sex with a girl in the center. I want to preface this by saying, that video, he did this way before he and I even got together. I think I mentioned that in the video, but just in case, new people come and they haven't seen that video, I just want to make that clear. So let's get right into it. This video is going to be about how I met him and how I ended up in this relationship to begin with. Okay, so boom, James and I, we met when we were in school together. We both went to the Mississippi School for the Blind at one point in time. I went for about a year or so, and then my grandmother ended up passing away, and so my mom moved out of Mississippi and moved to Indiana. So our interaction ended there, and it was that way for 11 years. As a kid, he was really annoying. He was really he just did things that was annoying. He was a boy. He did what boys did, He did what boys did. And so he would always just pick with me, mess with me, that sort of thing. So, according to him, I always I would fight anybody that tried to mess with him. I don't know how true that is, because you'll find out later on in this series that he was known to be a liar, and he lied for no reason at all. He lied about just dumb things. Okay, like I said, I moved out of Mississippi once my grandmother passed away. I think she died of stomach cancer or something. But yeah, so we stayed in Indiana for 11 years. My mom took me, and then a year later she went and got her my older brother and my younger sister and my younger brother. So while we were in Indiana, the last year we were there, we struggled a lot. And so eventually we ended up moving back to Mississippi, and I ended up going back to the blind school because obviously none of the schools in my hometown could accommodate for me. They were not able to, to do that or whatever. So that's where I went. Now, by the time I made it back to the blind school, he had already graduated. He had moved on with his life. He had went on to college, and apparently he had multiple girlfriends since my departure, which nobody was expecting you to wait on me. You know what I'm saying? Even though that's a lie that he told. He said that he had waited on me for 11 years and da-da-da-da. If you wait on somebody for 11 years, you're not gonna be out here fucking around on other girls and etc., all the bullshit, all that kind of stuff. So he lied about that. He wasn't waiting on me. The way I see it, you was passing the motherfucking time. Being community penis. But anyways, he ends up getting into contact with me because we knew somebody that rode the same bus that he used to ride and that I currently rode. The boy, they kept him and this guy, we'll call him Z. Him and Z kept in contact with each other, and Z was telling him about me, and he mentioned my name. He's like, "Oh my God, I know her. She sounds real like I know her. I know who she is. I used to ask about her all the time. Da 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 da. What's the number to the girl's dorm?" He knew what dorm I was in, or Z told him what dorm I was in. He asked what was the number. He got the number and he called. And when he called, we reconnected. He called the dorm phone because he didn't have my phone number. I had my own phone at the time, so I knew it wasn't a family member of mine when they told me that the phone was for me. So he calls, we start talking. He's like, "Hey, I'm James. We used to go to school together, you know, when you were little, da da da. Do you remember me? All, you know, all the questions, you know, we just start catching up. I'm like, yeah, I remember you, da da da. So we catch up and we start chit-chatting or whatever. I give him my number, and, you know, eventually we start talking from that day to, you know, to the time, from that day to July 15th of last year, okay? We start talking from that day to July 15th of last year. We talk a whole lot, and, you know, he was really, really clingy. He was really like one of those, like, he wasn't even my boyfriend yet, but he always called me all the time. The conversation between he and I was really, really kind of boring. I didn't really like it. It wasn't really all that interesting. And so when he would call my phone, I used to literally ignore it, because, like, I'm like, there's nothing that you want to talk about with me, you know. And I've been on the phone with other guys. Like, there was a guy that was interested in me. His name was, I'm not gonna say his name, I won't do that to him, but he was a white guy. This guy was black. He was a white guy, you know. He went to the same public school that I did in Indiana, and he wanted to talk to me, and I just wasn't feeling the conversation. I was not interested. I was trying to watch TV. I was trying to do anything but talk to this dude on the phone. Eventually he stopped calling, and I haven't heard from him since. But anyways, so, you know, James and I, we talk, and, you know, it wasn't really anything interesting, which should have been a red flag to me, one of the first red flags, because the whole point of the talking stage, which I do believe there is a talking stage, because you guys are not dating, but you're trying to feel each other out, trying to see if the vibe is right. And that's the whole point of talking. Like, if you're going to talk to somebody, you want to find something that will get the conversation going. You want to find something that you both have a common interest in. And I don't think we had that. And I think we were just kind of struggling to find things to talk about. Plus, I kind of struggled with having a conversation sometimes. I mean, we had similar life experiences, like with how we were raised and shit like that, maybe. But other than that, I don't think it was a whole lot we could actually talk about. So, you know, like I said, when he would call, I used to get annoyed, and he used to always flirt with me and be like, well, I hope to walk somebody down the aisle within the next few years. And I'm just like, sir, I don't know you. And then he used to send me all these little sweet text messages and stuff like that. And I'm just like, dude, like, I really think you're doing a little bit too much right now, because we're just friends, and you're sending me, I wish I had my old phone with all those text messages, and I don't even know if I still have those corny text messages, but I wish I had it, because the things that he would say, I would just be like, wait a minute, why are you saying all this stuff? We're not even together. So, you know, we talked for about 8 months. I think he called me in like toward the end of April at the dorm, and then we talked from then on up until we broke up or whatever. So in October we met up for the first time, because it was his brother's birthday. That was our first actual date that we had. And then we talked some more after that. And then fast forward to January, we met up for SCASB, which is like a conference that blind schools have. It's an athletic conference. And basically, you know, they have a wrestling one, they have a track one. I think they had a cheerleading one at one point, but they combined the wrestling and the cheerleading together. So we were hosting it this year. My school was hosting it. He came back. It was almost like a class reunion, because like everybody who graduated from the school, whether it was in 1960 or 2014 or 16 or whatever the hell, 17, everybody came. We met up then, we talked. Our actual date, our second actual little date or whatever you want to call it, we were in the student center at the place. He ended up leaving all his little friends to come and chill with me and whatever and whatnot. So we ended up, you know, we met then. We spent some time at SCASB at the little wrestling matches and stuff like that. And, you know, we talked then on after that. Come February 2nd, he asked me to be his girlfriend. I agreed by the 17th or the 18th of February. I don't know why I remember dates, but I do. By by the second weekend in February, I was meeting his mom. Now you may look at it and think, you know, that was really, really fast for you to be with somebody. They ask you to be their girlfriend and you're already meeting their mom. Like, that's really, really fast. It was, should have been a red flag because, you know, that's a little bit early. But then again, maybe it's not, because some people may meet a person's mom after 3 weeks of dating. Like, who knows? But I missed a lot of red flags within this relationship within the beginning. One of the biggest ones being, you know, people were saying, you know, hey, be careful with him. When they found out that I was in a relationship with this dude, they were like, be careful with him, you know, because he has not had the best track record with women, and he hasn't, you know what I'm saying, he's just not a really nice guy. He's really aggressive when it comes to certain things. He's, you know, he's been known to be abusive, you know, and I'm just like, okay. I'm like, okay, I'll keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? Not dismissing anybody's accounts of him, because at the end of the day, like, they know him better than I do. And I missed out on a whole part of his life. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get to see him grow up. So I can't just say that they're lying. But I also didn't want to base my opinions of him off of other people. You know what I'm saying? But I would later learn just how aggressive and how abusive he could be, just how manipulative he could be, just how arrogant and conceited he would be. And that's where I'm going to end this video. So that is basically how we met. And you will learn in this series as well how arrogant, conceited, manipulative, abusive, and aggressive he actually was. Maybe not physically abusive, but mentally and emotionally abuse. Mental and emotional abuse can do just as much damage as any form of physical abuse can. So that is this video, child. That's how we met. That's basically how we met. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you all will stick around and stick around for this series, and just bear with me as I take you all on the journey of James and I's 3-year roller coaster of a relationship. If you are just now finding my channel and you're stumbling upon it and you just so happen to be new, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. You might as well. You made it you sat all the way to the end of this video. You've watched my story. You had to like it, so you might as well go and like it and comment under this video, leaving me, you know, your thoughts, telling me about your thoughts of the video. And, you know, have you ever had an experience with a toxic ex? Have you ever dated somebody that people told you or warned you about and you went against the grain and did it anyway? And if you have, what was your experience with that? You know, what was that like for you? So leave me some comments, leave me some engagement. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also follow me on all my social medias, which is in the description box of this video. And I will see you all in the next installment of the X Chronicles. Y'all take care.